dice.
I wanted to, and I completely
dice.
forgot.
Yeah.
So like I'm gonna have
Come back.
a whole, and I did not take it easy on that Kraken Kickstarter, man.
No, not at all. Neither did I.
Yeah, I say I just got 2 sets, but
I'm so glad I had an extra thing for like an extra dice holder because I used that for merchandise at Dragon Con. It fit all of our pins in several layers.
I got all of my dice out because I wanted to see what it looks like at this point, and I just...
And it looks ridiculous.
You're approaching Laura levels.
You are reaching Laura levels of...
I mean, once my Kraken order comes, I will probably be about Laura level.
Also, I was so close. I put this in the Mimic chest, and then I opened it back up and forgot it was there, and then I opened it up and one side fell off. So it was so close.
Oh, no.
So close to staying for an entire con.
Surviving.
I have a thing I can share in relation to that. I can get to my closet, which is questionable.
Questionable Closet is the name of my... fuck.
Just my name.
Bieber. Name my Bieber cover band. There you go.
Oh god. Okay.
Okay.
Dice. So many dice.
Did you eat my salsa? Did you eat my salsa?
Did the cat eat your salsa?
I think she might have.
Nice.
Cats are just eating salsa now.
The funny
yeah, mine fell off the headband too.
I think based on when the Kraken Kickstarter is supposed to ship, I will probably get my Wormwood dice tower before I get those dice.
They're still
But that's just because I like magically scored an early ship date on that because I happened to check at exactly the right moment.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. Also,
the impressive thing is
for the live show arrived today, and I'm so excited.
I want to do that, but
I'm like still freaking out. Let's see if we're good.
So aside from my 2 critical roll sets, all of my dice actually fit in here, and I'm very impressed with that.
Nice.
I didn't think that. Oh god, there's so many. I have 3 more sets plus all my sneak attack dice.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
hello.
I hadn't said hi yet.
Hi.
Hi.
Reconnect everything.
I should probably put away the not Bellis dice. Just because it's getting to be a lot.
Like you do.
I think I have it.
I mean, I could buy tickets for the Critical Role live show, but I really shouldn't buy tickets for the Critical Role live show.
Yeah.
Especially because it's a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I would
I'd have to take 2
there.
days off work for that to be feasible.
Yeah. And I think for me it helps that like I don't have to pay for a hotel room.
Yeah.
Because I can stay with friends.
Yeah, I mean, I could potentially stay with a friend, but I still have to take 2 full days off work.
Well, yeah.
To do it.
Yeah.
You know, I may cave. You know, I may at some point be like, never mind, going
forever.
But this also means no dealer's room for me for several cons.
Yeah.
I was like, no, worth it.
No, yeah, totally worth it.
Oh, that's fine.
Very. Oh my god, it's so many. Even sorting them, there's so many.
Oh, yes, gorgeous.
No, that's just the full scope the camera can capture. It doesn't mean it's going to use the full scope.
I would like to compare this thing to Trinket. I'm just saying.
I need a nice dice bag at some point, or multiple nice dice bags.
We have none.
I'm wondering about making these in bigger sizes.
Make like a
stack.
holds a lot of a little
Yeah.
You need to decide how I want to paint this map.
A dice sack would be handy.
I have someone order a custom larger size, and actually I really liked the way the art looked on the bigger size bag, and it was a good size that didn't feel ridiculous.
One thing that'll be interesting about like doing like about a big one is if you could get like a big one and then put a couple small bags in it, you can still divide up dice if you wanted to, but have one thing to carry everything in.
That's what I'm doing with my Mighty 9 bag because it has these inside it.
Ah.
Okay.
But that's kind of what I'm thinking would be I might do is start offering big sizes. I held the bigger bag. I liked it.
Yeah. I still need to commission you to draw Wiria. I need to do that.
Speaking of drawings, I'm almost actually done with this by now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Finally. I've done even more, Maggie. She has tattoos now.
You were almost done the other day.
I know, and now I'm really almost done. See, I show.
That's not.
Also, I'm wearing my basically
see.
Wiria sweater.
That looks
Yay!
Damn it, I can't see.
more. No, that's not all.
So yeah,
I had to reload row 20.
That says no camera.
Reload it because
Reloading.
hang on.
I
let me
can't
reload.
see you. Bess, I can't see
Reload
you.
party. Oh god.
reload.
Reload
You're
party.
the only
I'm
one you and
My camera's
Aaron
on.
are the only two I couldn't see, though. I'll reload.
Oh, yay!
Around the
Now I can see. Oh, I need that in my life and also on the screen.
It's almost done. I'm
I
just
wanna
thinking
see.
because I'm insane and
Aww.
put glue in her hair, and
So
I'm like
cute.
going insane now, adding glue to her hair.
She's so cute.
Adorable feelies.
And she also has like a bajillion earrings, which I'm insane, and I'm like, they're gonna be tiny on the screen. Nobody can see them. I'm
Okay.
going to draw them and shade them anyways.
Nice.
I
No,
feel
it's not working.
I feel this in my soul.
Yep.
So I think we have everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Tequila.
I'm here.
Thanks.
I'm just trying to get my camera to work again.
Oh, no.
Oh, my camera died.
Alright.
Camera.
So is everyone
People
pretty
as
much
possible.
is everyone pretty much maintaining their characters inside of D&D Beyond?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Was there something different in D&D Beyond?
Yeah.
No, it's just a matter of I want to know where I should be paying attention to notes or anything like that, and like not really paying much attention to the characters inside of Roll20.
Yeah, no, I haven't updated. I haven't
Yeah, I've
updated.
been
my
I haven't used
character
Roll20
sheet
since the
Roll20
beginning.
for a very long time.
Yeah.
D&D Beyond.
I'm pretty sure my D&D Beyond
Beyond.
is the only thing I really update yet.
I never write anything character or backstory related in my character sheets.
Oh yeah, I don't have anything like that in there. But
Well, that's why, like, that's the one thing that I feel like. I mean, I guess they have like a notes section, but like
There we go.
they don't have. I'm like, they need just like literally a notes page in here. That's like the one thing it's missing. It's just
yeah,
like, no, they have a section, and at the bottom where it says other, I mean, I just need like an entire page that is just blank.
that's fair. Yeah, I agree with that. Just I need
How
a whole
about
big.
campaign notes, not backstory notes?
Yeah.
That's why when I had all the stuff about Karen, I was like, where do I put it?
I'll get everybody's camera working,
Okay.
actually, but yes.
I just gave up.
So
Okay.
last we left off,
I know, that's why I gave up on it.
Some shit happened.
I need to change to voice activate. Hold on.
Okay.
All sorts of shit went down.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because when I'm DM, I need to be able to kind of like jump in and just start talking.
Yep.
So last time on Wild Time in Wildemount, Felice had gone on a little bit of a walkabout after everyone had settled.
I wasn't alone, to be fair.
No, you were not.
Wander off by
You
myself.
were absolutely not alone by
Yeah, that
yourself.
one person was here, but now they're not.
Yes, my cousin Katie, who's playing K-Horn. You ended up somehow getting the attention of some more of those puppet fish people and some massive pet worm creature or something that attacked. So while most of you ran off heroically to the sound of the mystical horn that K-Horn had blown,
Fun.
Don't touch me!
Velis and Aiden stay behind in the inn. And Velis had his own encounter with a mysterious, strange-shaped creature that he had never seen before.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
What?
Puppy.
So, all of you get back to find a little bit of confusion and chaos. So as Felice and Maria, you sort of enter your room, like the door bumps up against something, which turns out to actually be Aiden.
Also, on the way back, I'd say Cortanas might ask Felice if she can get one of those conjure water spells after being basically covered in viscera.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm pretty
that
sure
thing.
I have like.
Yeah, you look like an extra from a Tremors movie at this point.
Okay, my can't.
It's just like what I remember happening is just like exchanging blows with this thing really quick, getting a bunch of ribs broken really quick, getting knocked over, and then suddenly the thing explodes all over.
Yeah.
That's basically what happens from her perspective.
I can do my prestidigitation over and over and over. Spray ball effect.
The human spritz bottle.
Still like bleeding
Or
from a
no
couple
one's
things,
bottle.
but mostly okay. At least it's her own. Thank you, Felice.
You're welcome.
Well, when I guess when we're in Felice get back in and fight, is Aiden like unconscious on? Like,
In our room?
No, I was sitting against the door.
Oh.
In our room though?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
Velis is standing beside him.
Also, your dwarf friend's on the ground and broke out of his bonds.
Yeah, so you look inside, and the entire room has just been completely turned over. One of the beds is flipped over. There is a giant pile of like blankets and rope. There's splintered chairs, and like the table basically cracked in half.
Okay.
And-
Maria stands there for a second and blinks at that, and then gets like, yeah, no, she looks very disappointed at Velis and Aiden.
Felice is really
confused.
You
You decided to rejoin us.
That was all
What
in.
happened?
Why are you in our room?
Because your friend decided to have a temper tantrum.
And Karen, you can see sitting on the
Conscious?
on the ground. He's conscious, and he's sort of looking up, sort of around Wuria to see if you're there, Felice.
Karen, you're awake?
Can we any of us hear that? Because there's like a
Think
quick
about that before.
defensive
Yeah,
thing as soon as she hears that.
I'm going
He
back.
shouldn't be awake.
Yeah, I imagine Elias
What happened?
or Katana's probably like peeking in now.
Yeah, just think immediately.
What happened?
I'm leaving and
Someone
going back to
please
bed now.
explain what happened. No, you're going to explain what
pretty
happened
sure-
right
I
now.
think Mama Wiria is gonna stop you and be like, explain.
I already explained.
I'm pretty sure what happened is you lot ran off without thinking about what you were leaving behind.
I mean,
So thou didst not come because thou somehow knew about this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
you're
because you
welcome.
were
And your friend is still
dead
here
asleep
and also
and
not dead. I'm going to bed.
hungover.
No, you're going to explain what actually happened beyond. He had a tantrum because there's a little more information than that. Thank you.
Okay, well, when we got in the room, everything was already busted up. How about that?
That's true.
Karen, do you know what happened? They're saying it's that you're the one who did this, but do you remember? Do you know why?
I just remember waking up and being trapped, and I tried to escape.
I mean, that is fair enough. We did have you tied up.
Because he tried to kill us.
Yes. But why did he even wake up?
Go ahead and roll a
Well,
nature check. If anyone who wants to posit possibly why.
A nature check.
Maybe?
Nature.
Sure. I do nature.
Maybe.
I still can't find anything. Right, I need to roll dice. It's been a while
Probably
since
not.
That is a 21.
18.
Give me a
And-
second, I didn't open my
Dwarves are
dice yet. I have it.
particularly resilient to poisons and other such things. So it is very likely that over time
Woo! Natural 20! I really know what happened.
he may have started developing either a tolerance to what you were giving him, or it was just a matter of time before it wasn't effective, or you're not quite sure what. But considering that he was imbibing what essentially could have been a poison of sorts, it may have been his natural dwarven constitution that
Great. Okay.
made it less effective this
You
time.
used to eat the poison berries as a kid when people would dare you, didn't you? Yeah, that stuff never worked too well.
By the way,
on
thou
you.
shouldst stay back. We do not know his allegiance.
But he's
Right now, Cortanis, I don't think it matters.
I mean, to
I look
be
at
fair, we
Karen.
didn't time back
Could
up.
matter to the others around here.
Do you have
At the
more of
moment-
whatever it was that you gave me?
Do
Whatever it
I
was.
forget. Whoever was giving it to him, I forget.
Yeah,
Here you
I've got
have some, right?
some.
I think we might still have a dose or two. I'd
maybe.
have to.
Let me find my equipment.
It's been a long time since I.
Did it work?
Da.
I'm just talking to Karen because I'm like, I don't know where the drugs are.
My equipment says I have 2 doses of sleeping potion.
Yeah, I think you had some left. I didn't have any
Yeah.
left.
So yes,
It
you probably have
silenced
a
its
little bit
voice.
left.
And that's
What
a
was
good thing, right?
Yes.
And we believe him. Why?
Because
know what?
he's my friend.
He's tried to kill us repeatedly.
No, that was the other guy. This one, if he says the drugs put the other guy to sleep, then give him the drugs.
Okay. You know
We
what?
don't just believe him outright. I mean, we're not that.
Can I insight
stupid,
this?
right?
I'm gonna cast
Sure, if
Zone
you
of
want.
Truth.
Insight,
Okay.
please.
Wait, Elias is casting Zone of Truth?
I'm gonna just cast Zone of Truth. I think
Sure.
I was
do,
like, I am not inside checking him because Felice just believes in her friend.
All right.
Turn to watch that.
Everyone needs to make everyone needs to make a charisma saving throw, including
Fun. Charisma save.
10.
That's a 7.
I'm gonna fail my own saving
Hold on.
throw.
What's my plus for charisma? It's a lot. That is a 24.
Mine's a minus 2.
Oh, wait, that's a charisma
Okay.
save? So 6.
Yeah! Wow,
Yeah,
you rolled
it's
lower
a
than me.
DC
Yeah, okay,
16.
Not that Wary is likely to lie anyway, but she
Right.
it's very
So as
well.
part of the as part of the spell, you also know who and who did not
You know,
save, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
believe so.
All right, you're
You're all
Particular-
also aware, yeah.
okay. That you cast it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Finally, someone
Um,
has some common sense in this room.
So this is embarrassing. I failed.
You failed your own Zone of Truth
I
book. Good
failed my
job.
own because I think I have to make a saving throw too.
Yeah, everyone in the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
he failed.
That's probably
so-
a good idea.
Yeah, no.
But so yeah, okay. Anyone who fails the saving throw can't
lie.
can't speak a
lie.
deliberate lie while in the radius.
Outright.
Yeah, I do know what each creature succeeds or fails. And yeah, you can still be evasive as long as it remains within the boundaries of the truth.
You can,
That's embarrassing.
I need to.
Why, you got anything to hide?
Nah.
Alright. No, he repeats again.
No, I didn't.
Whatever you gave me has kept him away, and I have not been hearing him.
well, then let's give him some more and make sure we stock up because until we figure out how to get rid of him, if this is, we don't have to deal with the bad guy.
I don't know if we can stock up. This was made by,
So yeah, this was made by
specially
what's her
made.
face?
Perhaps we can
Davenport,
find an
not
apothecary
here.
with the other dose that we have
it-
and be able to
was it
recreate
made
it.
By somebody remind me. Was it made by?
No, it was, it was
No.
before we left Havenport.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I.
I left my notebooks downstairs. I'll be right back.
It'll be fine.
I almost said it was that Squire Trelawney lady, and I was like, wait, no, that's the wrong character.
Slightly different. Yeah. Katana's idea is we take one of the doses and try to find an apothecary that might be able to recreate it.
No, that's a good idea.
replicate
We're
it.
gonna have to pay
And
the
how
inn a lot of
long-
money for the damage to this room now.
And how long are we babysitting him exactly?
We're not babysitting him. We're protecting him until we can find a cure for him.
Now, canst not expect a dark elf to have empathy.
Rhea looks well, I'll wait till he's back.
I had
Yeah, sorry, I'm not
no
hearing
about casting this spell.
Shockingly, we are people too, Kurtanis. And I just want to say Velis has been kind of spinning his dagger this whole time, and he's just holding it, looking...
Wait,
Thou canst act
who's
like
defeated
it.
and who's failed, just out of curiosity.
Is there any worth to
I think
fighting
you're
amongst
the one who's-
ourselves right now?
What? Not arguing amongst ourselves.
Is there any worth to fighting amongst ourselves right now?
No, that's just them. I'm just saying he's telling the truth,
Oh,
and
but that's what we're doing to a bunch of
it's
children.
think the medicine helps him. So why not give him more?
I don't disagree with you, Felice. That is not my point. My point is this continued antagonism between Velis and Kurtanis that does not help anything, either of you.
I'm just saying. I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't like being in the company of people who have tried to kill me. Deliberately.
I'm not especially fond of it either, but we need to figure out what to do. We can't just leave.
And for the last
Felice's
one, the
friend.
one to kill you is the one that the medicine is putting to sleep. It wasn't Karen. I mean, it was Karen, but it wasn't Karen.
Karen, who,
In my defense, you all tried to kill me too.
after you tried to
That
kill
is
us?
true.
Yes.
You're not wrong.
So it was in self-defense. But that is beside the point. The point is, who or what were you working for and why?
So, everything after the word, this isn't him, this is me. Everything after the word who, and everything before the word why, got shorted out because my headset shorted. Can you repeat the question?
Who and or what were you working for and why?
He has no name other than just Master.
Where did you meet him?
When I left Vestra. And
You know what he...
No, I things didn't go well. I was in a bad place, and he promised power. He promised.
What did he want in exchange?
He wanted me to perform some rituals and help those creatures.
The puppet fish people?
Do you know what the rituals were for?
No.
You just did them without asking?
You took the power because you wanted power, and you paid a price that you still don't understand.
I never
When you
said
say it like that, it sounds a lot. It sounds a lot dumber when you say it.
Hey, this is just gonna look at Karen and say,
Are
Karen,
idiots.
you know I'm your friend, right?
Yes.
If that's really what you did, that was really dumb. In the nicest way possible, Felice is like, you're an idiot.
It's something I have. I don't know what to do. I can't not do his bidding.
Well, this is the situation we're in now, so now we have to figure out how to get out of it. There's no undoing it, so...
He sort of like motions to the scarring and the pale skin sort of running up his arm and shoulder up his face.
What is that?
It's his mark.
There we go.
I don't know what it is.
What did he... Do you know what he did to control you?
He just makes me hurt if I don't do what he says.
Did he... I mean, the puppet fish people had those things on them. Did he put something inside of you? What... Do you know?
I don't. It's whatever this is. It's not the same as the pods.
No.
I don't know. She looks at Felice. I don't know what. I mean, we can give you the potion we have. We can see if we can get more. But I don't know what we can do to help you.
It's not a permanent solution.
Yeah, that's not a permanent solution. And she looks at Felice and just sort of winces and says, if we can't stop his control over you... And she just sort of stops.
Felice is just going to look at Karen and say, well, I'm not going to give up.
I'm not saying we give up. I'm just...
He seems comforted at that because his face kind of went even more white to like match the actual albino side of him when you kind of said the ... But he seems relieved when you say that you're not going to give up on him, Felice.
I don't want to give up on him either. I just... This isn't good, Felice.
I know it's not good, and I don't want to put the rest of you in danger, but
it's not
I
just
can't give up on my friend.
I'm not asking you to. It's not just us that's in danger. Whatever this thing wants, it was hurting more than just your friend, and it was hurting more than just us. A lot of people died.
It is following him.
And more of those puppet fish people showed up here. I want to try. I'm not saying we shouldn't try. I don't want more people to die.
Neither do I.
Because your friend was a fool. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's true.
At the very least, I think we need to sort something out, or this is just going to follow us. So I can agree on that count.
So I'm not sure if you guys are interested, but I do know a witch in town. Her divination skills are actually quite the commodity here in the city. She might be able to take a look and give us some information.
That would be worth a shot, at least, I suppose.
I can do divination.
Like my dad always says, everyone can be beaten, and if you can't beat them, outsmart them, and if you can't outsmart them, cheat. So
I like your dad.
divination feels good.
Well,
It's
so
been a long time since I've heard that.
we should. Well, we'll need
More
to.
comforting than you would
Okay,
imagine.
we'll need to compensate the inn for the room. We'll need to. We'll need to see if we can get more of. We need to see what we can. But we also. She looks around everywhere. We also need to rest.
Actually,
Okay, so
anything about what like Karen's described sounded all like a curse kind of situation, or is there something beyond that?
It's not something as simple as like dispelling a curse.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like sort of a magical enchantment that's on him.
Seems
He
like
has made a pact with some being
That is
of
not
sorts
nice.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
That has got him on a short leash,
Okay. Just trying to
and that's
eliminate
not
options.
not a
Not a.
world that you're familiar with.
Okay.
I'll talk to Shayna about the room. Maybe I can talk her into looking halfway past it. I don't know. I'll see what I can do about the room.
Would be appreciated. I
Thank you,
don't
Sarah.
like.
Can I go talk to Shayna?
Sure.
While she's doing that, so kind of DM question.
Yes.
I have it with an herbalism kit. I'm gonna roll 20 crash. That's fine.
It's been doing it to me too.
Did that for me
Sure.
earlier.
Would that allow me to? Is there any way to like? Can't really examine sleeping drug because it's already mixed, but like, if I know how to use herbalism kit for me, try and see if I can figure out.
I aid with my poisoner knowledge.
I would say with your proficiency with the herbalism kit, your training in nature, and Velas's knowledge of poisons and sleep agents and that sort of thing, I would say you could probably make a herbalism, like a proficiency check with the herb modified by, I would say, intelligence. So intelligence plus your proficiency modifier.
So like my nature
and-
score.
Say that again? Sleep agents, that
So
sort of
my
thing.
nature
I
score basically
would say you
plus
could
my proficiency.
Probably
Yeah.
make a yes,
Does she get advantage for my aid?
and you would get advantage to identify possible ways to make it. You'd still have to craft
So
it,
like
but
my nature
this is
score.
sort of like conferring with one another on what you might use to actually create
So
such a
my
thing.
nature score
I
basically
would say you
plus
could
my. Well, that's 19.
Does she get advantage
Okay,
for my aid?
so you're not necessarily sure what the alchemist in Havenport used, but between the two of you, you identify probably a couple of various local plants and such that you would probably be able to fashion into something like this.
Okay, so we know like how to make a cheap knockoff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have the years and years and years of experience as much as she does, but you could probably fashion something. It might require using more, and there may be side effects.
Using what?
You would probably be required to use more of whatever it is, and there
It
could be
might
side
have
effects.
Got it.
Right.
But I also have this knowledge of who like makes potions for a living, and I give them this stuff, and I'm like, or give them this like, hey, something like this. Can you make it better?
That's very likely.
Okay.
He, considering what I've already agreed to, I'm okay with side effects. Karen kind of pipes up as you and Velas are talking back and forth.
I mean, as long as those side effects don't kill you, but
I'm fairly certain whatever this is going to kill him if we can't give him a
We do.
dose. Keep
Alright.
one, keep the other for duplication, and have a day.
All right.
Velas just walks out of the room, and on the way, he just taunts really hard and just says, "Watch your assumptions.
Other
Goes back to his room.
short for you two, and you're gonna learn.
Kind of winces slightly after being like
I
the rib
support
cracking
this
issue
plan,
here.
Elias.
But
I am
Make it
getting
get
so
along.
tired of you two being petty, and I'm gonna stop talking now because this spell is probably still active.
Nope, still very much active.
Nikitanis is just not saying anything at this point because she also failed.
Right. So, what are you going to do? Actually, hold on. While you're sort of finishing that conversation and conferring on the herbalism check, Sarah, you go downstairs, and as you get downstairs, you see
My
Shayna.
charisma's not very good. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, you see Shayna coming up the stairs towards you, and she's like, "What's been going on?"
A member of our party had a little incident. And we there might be a little damage to the room, but I'm hoping that thing I did for you before kind of will come into play a little bit.
Make a persuasion check.
This is not going to go well.
I believe in you.
That would be a 16.
Oh, that's actually a pretty
Okay,
good
no,
percentage.
that's pretty good.
It's 17 minus 1. Because my
Right.
charisma's
We're
negative
so
1.
good at charisma,
Pretty
you
good.
guys.
So she sort of looks at you and is like, "It sounds like they tore the place apart, like there was a wild animal in there." I mean, it's.
We're gonna clean it up a little bit, but we wouldn't. We won't be able to make it 100%. But we're gonna do our best. We're gonna. I need you to work with me, Shayna. I need you to work with me.
I'll give you this, but then we're square.
I put out my hands.
And she shakes her hand and just sort of, crashing waves in here because there is a that kind of creates a bit of a sheltered harbor, but you do still get the sound of waves. I'm still looking for that one particular notebook that had certain things, like the name of the big turtle. The big turtle is asleep right now.
Bertha.
Bertha much. Bertha's asleep. And other than Shayna, you're the only one downstairs. It's a quiet night.
I enjoy my beverage in silence.
Okay. You can still hear some bickering from upstairs. Elias is shouting something about a get-along shirt.
Right. Toss a bit confused by that.
I chat with Shayna. I've been gone for a little bit. I just kind of ask how things are going, if there's anything of note in the city that has happened that I may have missed that might I might find interesting.
Well, I mean, there's the hundreds of refugees from Tal'Dorei from the dragon attacks. That's probably interesting. Yeah, no, there's been a lot of strange folk coming in. I think that there's been some people who've been helping, doing what they can. But there's just as many trying to take advantage of all these poor folk. It's real sad.
Yeah. It's a hard place to be in.
I don't envy them.
Yeah.
But, if I just... She seems sort of like conflicted about something. But, she just sort of swallows it and goes back to wiping down and kind of cleaning things up and setting up and getting the common area kind of in order and arranged, putting chairs on tables and that sort of thing.
Shayna, it seems like something's bothering you.
well, they've got a bunch of rooms, but you can't run a business by offering things for free. But I don't know.
So are you feeling bad that you're not in the position to offer rooms for free?
Yeah, I guess that about sums it up. I mean, I don't know.
Well, your business comes first. There's no question about that. If maybe it's not offering rooms, but maybe offering your help somewhere or doing something, to put good vibes out there in the world, that might help you that might help you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, Bertha pretty much watches herself. I'm sure Bernard could keep an eye on things for a few hours if I were to go make myself useful.
Absolutely. I think that would make you a lot happier.
Yeah, she kind of seems to straighten up a little bit. I think I'm going to do that.
Excellent.
Have a
I
good
have
night,
to go
Sarah.
good night. I have to go take cake out of the oven.
Slayer's cake!
Cake?
Slayer's cake for the win.
Cake.
All right. So you give Karen one of the doses, and ordinarily it would take effect pretty quickly. And he'd been out consistently, and he would only come up to like barely feed or anything. But he's kind of like just sitting there, like, I don't know if that was enough. Any more?
We need to duplicate it before we can give you more.
Give you something that is similar. It'll help a little bit until we can get the other one replicated by somebody who's better than me.
We can't afford to give you the only other dose we have because then we can't have someone make more.
But if you don't put me out, he's gonna find me.
I know.
Well, he already sent puppet fish people here, so he knows you're here somewhere.
I mean,
If
I assume they're here. I assume they didn't.
yeah,
just
Cortana's
come
like, if thou needs to be
he's just
unconscious.
gonna look at them and be like,
Yeah, we could just not
does
do
it
it
have
the
to be
old-fashioned way.
drugs, or do you think the drugs will help you stay asleep if we just knock you out?
You do that.
I don't know.
Tis maybe
None of
the
us know
only
how to
option
like
we have.
cast a sleeping spell, do we?
The actual spell sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, not really.
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't have sleep.
What level that is?
I don't even remember what level it is.
It's level 1.
Yeah, it's not high
Yeah,
level.
it's
It's just,
level 1.
No,
Yeah.
but it's I think like
I can't.
an arcane, like
Yeah.
a sorcerer wizard.
Which
Yeah.
means- yeah.
I could find out. Who could...
I mean,
I know I can't cast
what it
it, that's
takes.
why I'm asking.
It is a bard spell, but I have not learned it.
Mhm.
And I spells no, not
Yeah.
Right.
right. I mean,
If he must be put unconscious, I shalt. I'm not glad to, but I shall do it if need. My apologies.
it's better than the alternative. And he sort of like, as much as possible, kind of like readies himself to get knocked out. Go ahead and make a strength check.
Oh, I was gonna use the broad part of the blade, like she does when she was knocking out the the eel people before.
no the eel folk.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that was, I would just say, that was like doing a final blow after like stabbing them a bunch of times.
That's true. Okay.
This is more like just a brute force, pop them out.
Okay.
It's mostly just a matter of how much pain is he going to suffer before you actually knock him out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's still gonna use the left blade and just the brunt end, and just
Sure.
go for the back of the neck. Vulcan
Okay.
neck pinch.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. It's 2 - remind myself of basic. That's not too bad.
How do D&D?
How do D&D indeed?
16.
All right, that's enough. Yeah, so you basically cock him over the back of the head, and his kind of eyes roll. His eyes roll back, and he falls over. Right. He seems to be unconscious again. But I thought more than one of you had doses. Was it really just the two between?
It was.
I think it was just Weria and
Elias
Elias.
and Weria each had doses, but we'd only got a few extra doses beyond what was going to take us here.
Right.
So
Okay.
I think we only had the 2 left after the full trip.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that sounds right.
Right.
I know we only had a couple days, a few days, like a couple days beyond getting here.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's out. The room is in mostly disarray. Aiden and Velis. No, I think Aiden and Velis have both gone to bed. Sarah went downstairs to talk to Kayla.
I don't believe Weria does not believe they had nothing to do
I know,
with it.
I feel like
doesn't think
he-
a tied-up dwarf actually did this all himself.
Well, I mean,
He is magic, but still.
yeah,
Just saying, zone of truth, guys.
Right.
Zone of truth.
That's true.
That's
You
true.
know you think
You
yeah,
left.
they had zone of truth after
Yeah.
you said you didn't do it.
Yeah.
I can ask you
Yeah,
again.
that's true. That's true.
Weria
That's
does
true.
not
10-minute
believe
window?
you guys had nothing to do with it. She just had more important things to give a fuck about.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it still has it been 10 minutes? We can ask him real quick.
yeah. He's already out.
Well,
He's
Val-
Oh, he did
Yeah.
check Cortana and leave.
right.
Yeah. Drag him back in.
Nope. Nope.
That was just
In
you
Guys,
this
two.
room.
The time
I will
for
cast it again.
the time for you to confer about the potion of and to sort of have the discussions. It's been the 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we need to clean this up as much best we can.
Yeah.
Cortana's just
I mean,
gets a
we're
little
not
bit
gonna
curl
fix
and
that
just starts
table.
trying to put things up right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Bailey's sorry.
Weria does her best with her 9 strength and her tininess to,
Hey,
right
Bailey,
a few
you still
things.
have some strength. Not a lot, but like,
Weria has a negative
Elias will help.
well,
She's a weakling.
I got
Is there,
12 strength.
that's like above average. So after probably about a good 30, 45 minutes, you've managed to sort of push aside all of the debris into a corner, gather up what remains of the blankets and bedding, and kind of upright one of the beds again. The pretty much other than the beds, most of the furniture in here is just done. It's kindling at this point. But you managed to right everything, and is there anything else that you want to do before resting for the evening?
I don't think there's much else to do. Just for reference, because it's been a while, how much was the room?
I would probably say 5 silver a night.
Okay.
On the way back,
I think those are regular accommodation type prices, maybe.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know. You guys got a discount because Sarah,
Before
Sarah had
Weria
an
leaves,
inn.
he's gonna leave some extra money, because
Paper
Yeah.
damages.
because Weria.
yeah.
Gotcha.
On the way back,
I mean, this wasn't exactly like luxury accommodations, so probably like 10 or 15 gold would be enough to for any repairs and
Right.
replacement furniture or anything like that.
Yeah, I'll figure out what she leaves, but and I'll deduct it from my gold.
also remind me.
At some point, Sarah did say that she was going to go talk to Shayla
Right,
and
no,
take
yeah,
care
yeah.
of it.
But Weria will probably leave some money anyway because Weria.
Right, okay.
Because Daria.
Just
Because
a
Weria.
note for my remembrance.
Sorry, not the
It was just the one
Sure.
monster out there, here, right? There's the one big one?
There
Yeah.
was the big one, and then there were some of the fishy people.
Were there? But they were mostly just kind of up with the big one, right? And then, yeah. So, I guess on the way back to the room, Cortanas might kind of like reach out, grab Elias. My lord, thou art injured, aren't they?
No.
Thou art groggy. Wherefore art thou injured?
Okay, check.
I'm not. Seriously, no. I tripped. It's embarrassing.
Insight
Let's not talk about it.
Wow.
That's an 18.
Just wow.
Is it even possible for all?
If I roll,
Have fun.
should I? If I roll a 19, I could match it. Definitely lying.
Just gives him a look. Wherefore art thou lying? What didst thee do?
Nothing.
My lord, ribs doth not heal on their own that quickly. I felt that.
I mean, I do. I'm not a healer, but I can heal. That is part of what I do.
When your cleric says, I'm not a healer,
Yeah!
Look, I'm not a...
Lord, never
My
do
cleric.
that. Wherefore wouldst thou injure thyself to fix a broken weapon? 'Tis reckless!
You know what? It's... There's this thing, it's called a calculated risk, and I mean, that's what you do with broken weapons, you fix them. I don't know, I panicked.
A broken weapon can be
now.
a broken tool can be replaced. Thy life cannot. Be more careful, please.
I'm
Just gonna continue on.
so confused right now. Normally people say thank you when you heal.
Let's turn back. I am not a person. I am a tool. I can be nothing more. My lord, I have learned enough of thy cause. What wouldst thou call a person who, upon death of the body, doth not see thy goddess, but instead returns to some artifact to gain a new one later?
I mean, that's like textbook definition of a lich, but, you know.
She's looking at him, just giving him like the look.
What? I aced the quiz.
God damn it, there is a word for that, but I don't think it's...
Just giving him a poignant look, like, yeah. And then, like, I am not a person. Thy goddess would not allow anything else. Just allow me to do my job.
It's good that Where is not there, because she'd be shrieking at Cortanas.
Yeah.
Tis
I am
for
not
the
equipped for this
best.
conversation.
Just kind of like put hands on the shoulders.
Pretty sure you're a person.
I
No.
am not. I was a worthless knight as a person. Allow me to be useful to someone.
Were you? I mean, from what you've told me, you didn't seem super worthless. That's, kind of more impressive than, like, anything I've done with my life. The whole, like, hey, I'm gonna, put everything on the line and sacrifice everything. for my family.
'Twas fool's luck that someone found me useful enough to be a tool, to give me enough of a wish to fix what I had not been able to fix.
I mean, I just. I mean, okay, it's maybe not my place to I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Forgive me, I've said too much.
No, it's not. I'm just gonna go to bed and try to come up with a better argument for this some other time. I'm just gonna, then I just cast melt into stone.
Meld into bush.
Melt into
Serena Bush. She's just honestly genuinely baffled by this entire thing, but kind of shakes her head and goes back into the corner by the packs to sit down.
To me, you're a person.
What?
I said, to me, you're a person.
There. Good night.
Good night. Blankets overhead.
I hope thy goddess did not get angry at thee for that. And this guy sits down.
Well, you're not undead, so I think we're cool.
That's right.
Gotta say one thing.
It is because I am part of an artifact.
This is the most awkward argument.
Yeah, basically.
Basically.
Best.
It's like a mixture between, like, frustration and exasperation and...
On both
bit of-
sides.
Right.
Just never let Wiria hear Cortana say she's not a person, because Wiria will, like,
Right.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
throw a shit fit.
She can throw all the shit that she wants. It doesn't make it any less true to her.
Yeah, you'll never hear the end of it, ever. She'll start, like, baking you cookies somehow on the road. Like, telling you you're a person every time you talk to her.
Person cookies. Look, it's you! It's a gingerbread cookie! That is also a thing. That is also not a real person.
People get cookies. So I assume we get a long rest at this point. That's right. He never ever removed her hand from her mouth.
So, you all settle. There's some snoring from Cairn, but otherwise, I mean, and I'm presuming you're going to tie him up again.
I was assuming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Please
I'll
go
do
ahead.
that.
Okay. So you tie him up. He seems to sleep through the night. Perhaps the combination of the brain trauma and the sleeping draught was enough to keep him down. So, Cortanis, you, unlike elves who can do this weird trance thing, you typically have just trained your body to get less sleep. And so you're sort of standing up at attention, but a lot of the activity from the day and the sort of draining argument that you'd had with Elias seemed to have taken a little bit more out of you, and very not unaccustomed, but uncharacteristic, you actually find yourself sort of nodding off and struggling to stay awake. At some point, you do fall asleep. And while you're sleeping, you see yourself. You've got this indistinct feeling that you're someone else observing you. You can see yourself standing with your blades drawn in a ready stance. You're not wearing your armor, just the padded tunic underneath. And you can see that your face is calm and impassive. You don't see where you are. You just see yourself. You can't see the details of the room that you're in, or you can't really tell what the floor is, or even is a floor. You just sort of see you. And you are willing yourself to kind of look, to examine the room, to case it, find the threat. But it's as if you don't have control of your perspective. You're following someone else. You're along for the ride.
These controllers are whack! What the hell is
that?
Exactly. Terrible camera angles.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously in cinematic mode, and you lost control of the character. When you try and focus on any detail that isn't specifically you, it almost falls away and disappears. After a long moment of stillness, and this is weird because it's you, but it's not you. It's the other you. Shifts her posture very subtly. You've never seen it from this perspective before, but this movement, this shift in weight, is something that you have practiced and executed countless times, and you know exactly what comes next. Your blades, or her blades, the blades, begin to move. You see Runacell snap forward in a thrust, as Andunacell parries on the left with a rising sweeping motion. The weight is shifted to the ball of your right foot, and you use the momentum from Andunacell's upward motion to spin yourself around, slicing the air in front of you with Andunacell. And your left foot touches the ground just briefly as you complete that spin. You're watching this, and you tense the muscles in your left leg. If you had a left leg, you're this weird disembodied state, because you know that immediately following is a leap, but your leg isn't responding, but you see the leap happen in front of you. And it's unusual, this disembodied sense. You can see the not you continue with the routine, and you see it's the same one that you use to warm up each morning. The movements are slow, they're conscientious, and they're controlled. And you can see as she shifts from one stance to another, turning a parry into a swing, there's something indistinguishable in the air behind her. And then you can see another movement. It's too quick to catch. It's something around her. And you're trying to look at it, but it's every time you do, it seems to sort of disappear away. You can only really catch it on the periphery of your vision. And you're straining to focus on whatever this is. But they're moving quickly, and you can't quite catch a glimpse of what they are. But they're becoming more and more frequent, and they rush past. And after a few moments, you start catching a glimpse of what look to be faces, people, scenes, and something that you haven't felt really in a very long time, if ever, is the spark of recognition. The not you continues her practice forms, and blink, and your mind, it sort of like suddenly shifts, your perspective changes, and you piece together what it is that you're seeing. And what you are seeing are what look to be glimpses of many, many different lifetimes playing out not in sequence, but in tandem, laid on top of each other, like overlapping shadows. And the not Cortanus is simply moving in the normal practice stances completely unaware of everything that's shifting around her. And then, strangely, as if it's not coming from you, you're filled with a sudden sense of pride. It's not coming from you. It's this observer. The emotion isn't yours. It's whoever's perspective you're sharing, and your view shifts, and it looks now as if you're looking onto the scene as through a window at a very, very far distance, or a mirror, sort of a glassy reflective surface. And your perspective is kind of like shifting back and shifting back and shifting back. And the not you in the mirror seems to be drifting away. And a bit of light catches the reflective surface. And just before you wake up, you catch this, you can almost swear that you saw reflected in that mirror is a silhouette of shadow, but in the center of it, a white porcelain mask surrounded by black raven feathers. And then you sort of wake up again, and sort of having nodded off, kind of blinking around you.
He's unconsciously like slight tear, quickly like that.
And you're awake, and you fell asleep again. Something, but you're not sure what that was. It is early in the morning, probably still an hour left before dawn. Elias is crashed into the bed, typical like arms akimbo. And it's quiet. You can hear the sound of the surf, sort of distant and faded, but it's your heart is racing. Not quite sure what it is you just saw.
Like quickly hands down the face, kind of shakes it off, tries to figure stuff out, and probably takes like several long moments to just try to remember all that stuff, pulls out the journal that she has, just kind of writes down some stuff, and eventually just kind of like lets the tension sort out and just kind of slowly eventually stands up since it's early still,
right,
and just kind of goes to the far corner of the room, is super quiet about it, and just kind of starts in on those normal motions.
Yeah, I mean, the perfect mirror image of what you saw just a moment before. It's the same routine. But yeah, it's exactly that. The sun rises a short while later, and you can see Elias stirring from sleep. A soft knock at the door, as Sarah sort of announces herself to all of you. She must have gone to her own home and slept for the night, and then come back just around dawn. But I don't know if the rest of you would be waking. Karen is still out, as you and Maria, you and Felice wake up. I don't know if Velis or Aiden plan on waking with the dawn or sleeping in still, but
Velis didn't sleep much. He's probably out.
But it is a new day. Like to.
Hit points. I'm not dying anymore.
Felice, just as an aside, they didn't, I think, go into too much detail, other than maybe someone may have mentioned sea lion, but you know that specifically the sea lion is one of Karen's favorite animal forms, and he often like retreated to it as sort of like a means of self-care kind of thing.
Like how I like to be a dolphin.
Yeah.
Makes sense. He's a boy.
Right.
Well, if we all are getting together for breakfast or whatever, Maria's gonna ask, okay, so who wants to go find an alchemist and who wants to see if we can figure out what we might be able to do long term about this mess?
It's worth.
And who wants to
We
go
still have that
feel
gem.
out our necrotic gem?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
I should probably
that.
handle that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that through myself.
Anything that doesn't have to do with the dwarf, I'm in for.
We need some people to deal with other
Very
things.
individual, Aiden.
I feel like somebody should stay here with him, though.
Yeah,
in case
Felice,
happens. So I'll
you
stay
and
here.
Velis. No, you and Velis understand that potion better than the rest of us.
I mean, that is true.
I can't explain that potion to anybody.
Yeah.
I have my own reasons for wanting to see what this gem is. I'm not willing to just.
We don't have
leave
to
that.
do it all at the exact same time. I'm not saying we all split up in 5 directions and go do everything at once.
Well, you did kind of suggest it in that manner.
Yeah.
You did.
I was going through the things we need to do today and trying to figure out how to do them.
Lyria has this thing that she likes to do. It's called a to-do list. And she lists everything she wants to do in the day, but I've never seen her do it all at once. That'd be really
Journal comes out, writes down to-do list.
Right. What's this?
I'm sure we all want to know what's up with this gem.
everything, and then we figure out what we do first.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm sorry if I phrased it in a way that was confusing. Moving on.
Okay.
Sarah chimes in again. In addition to the witch, there's also a contact of hers who is sort of. Nobody actually knows his name. He just sort of goes by the quartermaster. He tends to be able to get things of value to and from places. And is a bit of a inventor on his own. He may be able to provide some information on this artifact that everyone's been referencing. But she doesn't know if it's like divine or arcane magic, or she doesn't know what it is. But
and we
if you have questions, the witch can answer. There is a temple here. Yeah,
that's where we were planning to go with the gem.
To take the gem.
We also have a bunch of stuff to sell.
In speaking of Roll20 notes, I went through and added gold piece values to all of the items in the Roll20 party notes thing.
Cool. I see that. I actually have that open right now. So.
And there are a couple of 100 gold piece gem diamonds in there as well, in case there were.
Oh,
we will probably keep those.
Spellcasters interested in 100 gold gem, 100 gold piece diamond.
For some reason.
For some reason.
Well,
being that you're a 5th level caster and all.
It also might be. We've taught. It also might be where you takes that as a magical secret, because
Right. Revivify diamonds worth 300. Diamonds worth 300 gold piece.
Oh, diamonds.
Well, so we can hang on to the diamonds that are in there for the purpose of adding to that amount.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff in there.
Okay.
I mean, most places you can sort of just trade in purchases and stuff. I don't think you would necessarily need to specifically go find some kind of jeweler. But there is a temple to the Raven Queen. That it's actually in an area of the city sort of colloquially known as the Calm. It's basically the big cemetery. But it's yeah. people tend not to are usually buried in a place outside of the pews. Named so because of the prevalence of churches and temples there. Typically, the Church of the Raven Queen is further away.
Well, the two most pressing matters are starting any potion and
share this potential cursed gem.
For a while.
Very well.
I'll be right back. I need to restart my voice connection. It's being very bad.
Potions. We need the potion because we only have one.
Yeah.
Or maybe it won't let me.
Apothecary.
There you go.
Get that taken care of, and
Who's
then
staying with Karen though, because we can't leave him by himself.
we'll leave. We'll make sure someone. And this is out of character. I feel like Felice and Bella are most central to go to the apothecary.
Okay.
Unless
They're gonna then come back and send them out again. You're gonna all go to the temple.
Felice, if it's between
I can handle the potions.
So yeah.
What if he's going to go to an apothecary? Is anyone else
At the same time?
at the same time?
Given how adamant Velis was about going for the gem, I think we have to wait
Right.
until they get back to do that.
I will
Velis might stab
keep an eye on Karen.
Yeah, Cortanis can
Well, you guys do
watch
that.
over.
Because I figured
Okay.
Okay, Weary will tag along then.
Elias and Cortanis are pretty well equipped to handle anything.
Sure. Sarah will guide you there. So,
Worst case scenario.
or what do you?
Well, if we're gonna, I mean, I can go take care of selling all the
Goods.
dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
know what we
So,
want to sell.
yeah. I mean,
I don't want to do that. I don't want to stay here.
Okay. Is there anything in particular, or are you just saying you'll take this opportunity to translate Grill into gold, or you want to go look at or investigate? Or
I'm just gonna take care of.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Keep the diamond.
We'll go through the inventory. Sarah does an apothecary. That's just him coming out. Who has a shop in the markets, or the market, and it's basically just it's looks much like any other apothecary shop as they do. It is not run by a vaguely French accented Professor Trelawney clone. It's actually a gnome. The shop being just, green leaves. And it's well kept. There's a lot of oh wait, hold on. No, actually, I created an apothecary. I just all of a sudden, no, wait a minute. No, hold on.
You have to remember the
Start that. Reverse it. It is called green leaves, but it is actually not a gnome. So as you go in, there are many shelves lined with what look to be herb planters and all kinds of plants. It's very humid and earthy smelling when you go in. Everything is very neat, much unlike the one you visited in Havenport. And you can see at the back of the store, you can see basically a tall figure. They have their back to you, but you can see they're tall, and shirtless, wearing what look to be like just sort of leather shorts that are canvas or leather that have a lot of like sort of pouches and stuff and tools hanging off of it, sort of clippers,
Cargo shorts.
string and cargo shorts. Basically.
On the leather bar,
Just some
okay.
cargo shorts.
Yeah. And as you all enter in, he turns around. Here we go. Probably the most tanned half elf you have ever seen. It's kind of like a sun bleached hair, kind of coming down shoulder length. And
Fabio.
he is.
He looks like the cover of a romance novel.
Less like bulky and more like these will enter, and he sort of plans of something. So, come on in, and he kind of goes to down. Let's shop. And he kind of holds out his hand.
He just shakes his hand. Hi.
Hi, Felice. Maria. What can I get for you today?
Do you smell like salt water or fish?
No, there's no smell of like. So, I mean, beyond what you might smell in a port city, a quarter mile from the actual waterline.
Lives on a beach, kind of. So.
Yeah, I mean, you do hear like a little bit of rattling, and as his hair moves, he does have like sort of a puka shell necklace kind of thing going on.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
Shells, but it's other shells.
Right.
Well, we're looking for someone who might be able to replicate or make a similar potion to something we've previously purchased.
Well, if you need potions, I've got you.
Specific potion.
Specific potion. Well, I mean, I've got some healing potions, and I can show those to you. But is that what you're looking for? I don't recognize you. You haven't been in my shop before.
No. We made it at another shop in another town. Well, we didn't make it. They made it.
Okay.
Do you know how to make a sleeping drug?
Well,
just comes out and says
in theory, but and he kind of like looks at you. What do you need something like that for?
We
It's a long story.
I mean, it's
We lead a very, very adventurous life, and it's very hard to sleep on the road.
He actually wants it.
yes,
but
no.
not ready, so we're
okay. I just don't want any sort of untoward behavior.
No,
I certainly want to contribute to anything. Go ahead and make a deception check, fellas.
No, there is consent.
Okay.
There's consent.
And no making roofies.
Consent is important. It's very important. You don't want to be giving people things to drink that they don't know about.
I like this guy.
21.
Oh my gosh.
My friend is.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, Kristen. What was that?
Oh.
21.
21. Okay.
My friend.
Okay.
My friend is.
Hold on, my audio cut out.
Okay.
I can't hear, but.
Yes. Did say they wanted to sleep on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go. I hear voices again in my head.
Yeah. What about?
Bella said that we wanted it we love leading an adventurous life, and sleeping on the road is hard.
Right.
So-
And the mention of consent and generally Wuria's rather guileless face has seems to have satisfied him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did
It's
say
like I could probably make something like that, but you said you had something?
Yeah, we have one dose left that has worked really well, and we're just looking for something as similar as we can manage.
Okay, well,
Elise and Velis.
yeah, he goes around behind the counter and kind of pulls out a sort of like a little maybe half-sized milk crate looking thing. Kind of sets it down on the counter and starts pulling out a couple of various, basically an herbalism kit.
Yeah. So upon seeing this, whatever, can Felice just basically say, pretty sure it has something like, and whatever those ingredients are that we already figured, like, we think it's something along these lines.
It's like, oh, yeah, that could work. I mean, it's pretty smart using local flora that's in season. I can probably do something with that. Yeah, and you said you had one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and he kind of holds out his hand to take it.
You can trust him, right?
He seems very authentic, down to earth type guy.
I mean, I'm a pretty trusting person, I feel like, but I'm just like, the only one.
Yeah, I mean, Warrior's probably pretty trusting, so unless Velis wants to insight check him before we have
Right.
Velis wants to insight check and see, does he seem like he's competent enough to do this?
I would say make go ahead and make an insight check.
Okay.
That's modified by wisdom, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's a natural one.
Someone who is as confident while not wearing a shirt has probably got to know his stuff. I mean,
That's a very specific reason to know his stuff.
The best reason.
I'm not wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
That's how everyone knows back in the Age of Arcanum. It's just old tradition.
right.
Yeah.
Warrior pulls out.
Okay, and he sort of he takes it and he like pipes out, like he's got a little glass piper, and he kind of does a little bit of examining. Let me see exactly how well he knows his stuff.
I just want to say that normally Velis would be watching this process to make sure he's doing it right, but he's now gotten really distracted by some interesting plan.
I feel like Elise is watching it, because if he's going to come up with the same concoction that we came up with, we're not paying him.
Warrior's watching him just because she's curious. Because
Elise also wants to try and figure out how to make this so that
they don't have to keep buying
it again and need more.
Right.
Yeah.
They know what
it's mostly a matter of spending downtime. Or spending time to do it, kind of thing. So if you can dedicate some time to do that, that could work. He's got a lot of interesting plants, and they're very well kept. Yeah, so he looks it over, and he's like, well, I mean, I don't know what exactly went into this, but I've got a couple of the things, and he's sort of like looking around, kind of taking stock of the shop and looking behind him a little bit, and some of the things that he has behind the counter. I could probably fashion something kind of like what you're talking about. It'd take me a couple days to brew a batch, but you'd have a number of doses for it.
Okay. Is there any chance then, once you do, that you could maybe tell me the recipe? I know that sounds really dumb because we are buying it from you, but
we will pay for the recipe.
We're traveling, and if we run out again and we're far away from here and have to find somebody else, and then they have to figure it out, it doesn't seem very productive.
No, I certainly don't.
I'll go back to you.
I don't blame you if this is for medicinal purposes. I can certainly see how it could be important to be able to procure it on your own.
We're getting medicinal marijuana.
Yeah, basically. We're gonna keep our dwarf.
This guy really is fucking Matthew McConaughey.
He sort of like tucks his hair behind his ear a little, flips his hair. It's like, yeah, no, I could definitely do something with this. I mean, is that all you wanted? I could probably, I can make you a batch. So let's see here. The ingredients themselves.
Speed 2 cruise control.
Guys, we're just buying a pot potion. Right.
I could probably brew you, say, maybe about 50 gold. That'll get you a couple of days worth. I'd need more time to make anything more than that, though.
I think, Felice is totally willing to vouch for this. Don't even know how much.
We also have plenty. We have enough in the party funds too.
We have a lot in party funds.
I mean, was that all you're looking for? I mean, I've got other drafts. I've got, and he pulls out like a tray of, you're not sure what it is, but it's sort of wrapped in like a green leaf. I've got some edibles. Yeah, it's an old family recipe from my grandmother on my mother's side. And he opens it up, and it's basically like, it looks kind of like cornbread. Mm-hmm. He's like, real elvish whey bread. A bite will sustain a man for the whole day.
Maybe less if you're having the other munchies from the other side.
He says, yeah, you don't want to keep this on hand when you're partaking. It gets kind of expensive. And he sort of like, he basically is like this pouch that he has. He's like, this'll do you for a month, but it's 30 gold. You don't want to eat that in a single sitting. Oh no. I mean, I don't have the constitution for that sort of thing.
For now, I think we'll
that
take
sounds like a challenge.
the potion, but we will have to pick it up. So we may make some other purchases when we return.
Sure, I've got some. I've got, like your standard healing potions, and I've got some creams and salves that are real good for the skin. And you can see his skin is actually pretty nice. He takes very good care of himself.
We'll keep that in mind.
Out of curiosity, now that you mentioned his skin, I'm like, does he have any tattoos or anything like that? Just because things Felice notices.
Sure. Nothing in particular. But when you've from Vestra, you've known the occasional Genasi and the occasional sea elf. But you're not quite sure exactly what his parentage is. It's just you're picking up on things that are just not what you're used to. But there's no identifying marks or anything like that. It looks like he's other than maybe his shell necklace, he's got sort of like a couple of leather straps that look mostly decorative around like one of his wrists. There doesn't seem to be anything uniquely identifying about him.
Okay.
What was his name? Just because I missed it.
Oh, Pawn. And it's like, what's your name? Don't get many of your folk coming up here. It's often too bright in the sun, but I like the sun. And he kind of like
Yes.
Tubrek. Pawn Tubrek.
Well, so you said it'll take a couple days. How many doses would that be for the 50 gold?
5 doses. 10 doses, 10 gold per dose.
Okay.
And he can get you 5 tomorrow.
Okay.
But he would need more time
Okay.
for more.
So
Sorry, I was waiting, but
definitely the 5 doses.
Right. Now the thing is, so this will replicate more or less the formula, but you may either need to give him more or find something stronger.
Right. I'm trying to figure out.
But I know, just since I got really distracted by those plants, is there anything here that could be added to it to maybe make it more potent?
Oh, very, very, very likely, but it would make it more expensive. That's the sort of the thing. To basically make it more powerful, it would like double the cost. Because you'd have to use rarer ingredients to increase its potency. But you could do something like that.
Okay.
And I mean, if you need to pick up any ingredients for any of your stuff, there's all kinds of stuff. Stuff that you've seen, stuff that you're familiar with. Nothing that would... This guy hasn't, gone shopping in the Underdark, so there's things that you don't recognize, but you can find... If you needed to get any material for your own poison stuff that you make, you can do that here.
Okay.
I mean, I think... Unless, Velis and Felice would know about whether or not to ask for something stronger, whereas just making sure we get something duplicated.
Right.
I was gonna, because I had that thought, and as he's like starting to make it, Felice.
Well, it's not something that he'll probably do immediately, but he can probably have it for you like in the day tomorrow.
Yeah, but she's just gonna ask me to be like, so. Can you we do need it strong for my friend gets really bad nightmares a lot, and even with the sleeping drugs sometimes he still wakes up, so he asked to get a strong one. I don't know.
I mean, I can certainly increase dosage and add a few other ingredients, but those are rarer, and it's going to be a little bit more expensive.
That's okay.
That should be fine.
No, I mean, he sort of like, he puts away the lembus, and you can, hear the sort of rattling of glass bottles and stuff underneath. And he pulls out basically like a little notebook and a charcoal stick and sort of like taking some notation. And he hands you a script and he says, "Yeah, don't worry about paying right now. Just come back tomorrow and I'll see you and we'll settle out. But here's just for your own peace of mind." And he hands out it's basically just a little note with his signature on it with some details. But yeah, I can definitely get started on that. Yeah, come by morning tomorrow. But after about midday, I'm gonna be closing up shop early. There's supposed to be some storms coming in this evening and churning up the water, and I really want to get out before it gets too dark.
Okay, well, we'll be sure to come in tomorrow morning then.
Sounds good. Well, it's certainly very good to meet you, Ruria and Felice.
You're nice.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
I always find it's a good... Sorry, I just totally blanked.
You can tell that was you or the
Looking
character.
at his face now.
Yeah, no, it's like...
That's when he was like taking it.
Yeah, no, he's not actively, no, it's
vibing.
It's tripping.
It's only natural that a proprietor takes care of his potential customers. Thank you all for coming in, and certainly, I haven't been asked to make something this complex in a long time. It'll be nice taking a crack at something like that. It'll be nice.
Oh yeah, there's some
Thank you
crack
for your
involved, all right.
Well, I'm glad that we can give you a chance to do something fun.
Hmm. He sort of like just kind of lazily waves as you all leave the shop.
Okay. So they head back. We head back to the inn.
Okay.
I did want to say real quick, I don't know if they were being included in the thing, but the 2 platinum rings that are listed in the party notes, I'd want to hold on to those too,
Okay.
Okay.
for spell components.
Okay. Is a platinum rings on it of something?
Yes.
It's
Warding
interesting that the Oh.
Specifically platinum rings.
Like, what uses that?
Yeah, I need a
It's
pair of
interesting that they would put a bunch of useful spell components in the introductory Dungeons and Dragons module. Huh.
Shocking. But yes,
Maggie,
it
why
is
don't you pull those out and put them in your inventory?
Yeah, add them to your
I'll
inventory.
mark on my.
The
So-
diamond and the
Yeah. I mean, the
They're
diamonds might get split with Wiria eventually, but for now, put them all in your inventory.
So to catch you up, Tracy, they visited. You took them to a healer, an apothecary. His name is Pawn Tubrek. And he's basically you've dealt with him in the past. He's reliable, easy on the eyes if you like that sort of thing. Probably maybe partakes a little bit of his own product, maybe a little too much. But yeah, no, they got some sleeping potion for him, and then that's kind of where we're at. And they're headed back to the inn. Mm-hmm.
And to fill you in, your kids are home safe, and I've locked them in their rooms.
Oh, great! Thank you. We'll have to get. It's getting late for the group. So I don't know what that was, John.
That was John Parenting 101.
Oh yeah. They've got iPads and Nintendo Switches. They're fine. So I think the plan next was to visit the Church of the Raven Queen. Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the other most important thing.
I mean, how much
I mean, that I thought they were
around
dropping.
did we get from this stuff? I wasn't looking at it.
William would probably know because it's in Roll20 on a thing in the party called Party Notes.
Yeah.
It looks like there's quite a bit of money if you just sell off most of the stuff, unless you keep anything individual. Plus, there's also like the 4 chests of random valuables that were stolen from all of the people that you guys took.
Yep.
That's like 500 gold as well.
Maggie, have you added the diamonds and rings? To
Yeah,
your
the diamond. It was 3 diamonds.
It was about total of 3 diamonds, 100 gold each, and then there was also 100 gold worth of uncut diamonds.
And I'm figuring
You have
Okay.
there are 400 gold worth of diamonds, basically.
Right.
I don't think the spell requires cut diamonds.
No, it just says. I think
No,
it
it's
says
just diamonds. Okay.
So I'm just going to remove all the diamonds and the rings.
Okay, so it
the
was
platinum
100
ring.
gold with uncut diamonds. Okay,
Um,
I'll add those.
Beyond just like gems and jewelry and things, there is, if someone in particular felt any sort of emotional attachment to what it would be a there's a wooden where is that? Oh, finely carved wooden pipe. Oh wait, that didn't have a value. I don't think it had a value for that. And then there's the hammered mug of Electrum.
For all of me, we can sell everything else. I don't, unless someone else disagrees. I mean, all the stuff with values.
Right.
Let's not sell our magical scrolls and things.
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it. Why
Your
not?
arcane casters could probably make use of some of those. I mean, one of them is actually a
Wayback
scroll
Cave Key.
so.
Oh yeah, we do have that.
Yep.
You may actually want to give that to one of the
yeah.
rock seekers at some point.
Yeah, like
Give
that
what?
key.
The key that opens
The
a
key?
lot of the doors
Oh.
and stuff in the mine.
I mean, I guess I sort of we never deleted it, but I assumed we gave it to one of them.
Right. I mean, Gundren is actually still there. It's Nundra that came back with you.
Yeah.
All right.
I was just gonna go ahead and like basically remove all the valuables and just add the gold value to the party fund.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that works.
Yeah.
All right, let me find my notes on. Oh yes.
And then we can split up party funds again for
Right.
everybody once we have all that done.
Yes. So, Sailor's Rest. It's the nickname for the cemetery. That's the official name of the cemetery.
I probably would have gone back to stay with
Yeah.
Karen.
Yeah, it's
You're gonna stay with Karen?
Elias and
Whoever was
Phoebe's
staying
are
with Karen
switching
can
off.
go,
Okay.
because all I really needed to do was the potion thing, so.
Sure.
Yeah, we can swap. Well,
Okay.
And everyone else seems to want to go to the
Elias has probably been trying to teach Cortana's card games.
because given that Elias and Weary are the two that actually know the most about the gem.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So he's.
Quartermaster guy.
Say that again.
I'm just more interested in meeting the quartermaster guy.
Gotcha.
Also, it doesn't have to do with the dwarf.
The gem also doesn't have to do with the dwarf.
Also,
It
It doesn't have to do
has to do with other dwarves, but not that dwarf.
Right. The
Quentin?
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, hold on. Wait. Did I give you his name?
You did?
Oh, okay. That's something that technically only Sarah knows.
So what was the conversation about the quartermaster?
Just that he exists.
He exists, and he invents things, and no one actually knows his name, well, except for you, apparently.
His name is Quentin Haverford.
Right.
He likes to
Well-
tinker.
We all know his name.
And
we know his name.
if given the chance, he can procure just about anything. So whatever you need.
Sarah just show up actually knows his name.
I didn't know that no one knew his name.
See, when you lose notebooks or you don't keep organized notes, sometimes telling people things like copy pasting parts of your notebook, and then they say it back during the game and remind you, it's great. So I don't have a name.
This is not my fault, right? I just want to clarify. This is not my fault.
It's totally not your fault.
Perfect.
Only
We're good.
only a
We'll go
select
secret.
few know his name.
I showed him my tits, so we're fine.
Right. Church first.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd really like to not have this.
Yeah. No, that
Potentially.
No, agreed.
Sure. Okay. So there's not much issue getting across town. It is a little, again, once you move further and further away, kind of from the docks, it does lighten up a little bit. Sort of refugees and packed, congested streets and stuff. The avenues widen up quite a bit as you move towards the gardens. However, there is a sort of a stone wall that actually separates the gardens from the rest of the and there's a gate with a couple of guards who are sort of just casually inspecting all of the people that kind of walk by. It's not like a checkpoint per se, but they're giving every good look and see that there's one person that they sort of turned away who would be dressed down and a little dirty looking maybe, and they kind of shoo him off as you guys approach. And one of the guards kind of turns to look all of you. Can I ask you what your business is in the gardens?
My lord is
I
in
have
search of the
business
Temple of
with-
the Raven Queen.
Yes, thank you.
Muriel was gonna let
I was about to
Elias
say
handle it, but apparently Cortana's
Yeah,
He's taking too long and just like, okay,
you.
try to. Since it seemed like a guard looking for people upbeat, just kind of prim and proper.
Mm-hmm. Raven Queen, and he kind of like looks over Elias. Have like any like super obvious
I mean,
really say, hey, I'm a lay person of the. Sure. I mean, it's not like you've got. There's nothing about you that actually seems like that you're
he does
priest.
wear a holy symbol, but it's like around his wrist, kind of like a rosary sort of deal.
Gotcha.
I do have vestments in my
inventory. Did you put them on?
into them.
You do have vestments.
Put them on.
Into my official vestment.
You like sort of like pull out like a robe that's sort of adorned with the colors.
I just pull it out of my.
Yeah, it's like well, I've got.
That is the most Elias thing you said.
Elias, yeah.
Like,
And he sort of like looks you over, and he kind of looks over the rest of the group. Let's see. And he just, yeah, no, Church of the Raven Queen. Okay, just make sure that you go straight there. There's folks don't like anyone wandering around. There's a lot of
absolutely.
Of course.
A lot of homes in this area.
Any particular reason for that?
We will go straight.
Where is
Run away?
Curious.
As we get through the gate and out of the sight of the guards, I'm just gonna give Velas this look like, don't do anything.
You guys, like, Velas is sort of protesting as you grab him by the shoulders and escort him past, and he's like, but, and the guards kind of like look at each other and shrug.
Don't you think there's some reason for it? If potentially something is going on, we might want to know about it.
As you look around, you presume that it's likely because based on the immediate transition of the city from where you were to what you're now in, the reason why it's called the Gardens is because many of all of the streets here are often lined with green belts. There's a lot of trees, a lot of shade, a lot of bushes and stuff, and a lot of the buildings and homes here with a lot more space around them. So
people with
money make their homes. So that's probably why. I mean, it's not so tight as like, you know, the name of that district in Zadash
that had the pillow trove. Yeah.
Tis the merchant elite.
Yeah.
Not the elite, but the merchant nobles.
Right. I mean, a lot of what drives everything in this town is trade, so there'd be a lot of them here. All right. So you make your way through, and it's not that far actually to get to the church from where you entered, sort of at the very bottom corner of where the pews, the gardens. But it is a very modest building, very unassuming, simple, and you've been here before. Actually, you spent some time here after sort of landing on these shores. Not more than, I think, a month ago. The timeline is still a little fuzzy, but as usual, it's very quiet. The building itself is sort of like the entryway, and then the cemetery is kind of built in around it. And of course, there's an iron fence that's actually pretty tall. It's about 12. Iron fencing is probably a good 1.5 to 2 inches thick each pole. It's very sturdy. Not sure if it's meant to keep things. But from a distance, there's a lot of sort of intricate ironwork, sort of interchanging it. But you can actually, if you're familiar with history and lore, actually tells in sort of relief form a number of the variations of the origin story of the Raven. But it's one of those things in order to see it. But you enter, and it's quiet. The floors are large. And if you it kind of seems to almost emanate from everywhere around you. And you hear it sort of intone. What have you brought into my home? Sort of like echoes quietly. What have you brought into my home, Elias?
Druria looks around a little.
He's quickly peeking around at that.
Not really sure. That's why we're here.
Thomas will procure the power.
Have you brought evil?
I really hope not, but I think I might have.
But probably.
But probably. It's
make a perception check.
Okay. Not bad. 17.
The voice, it sounds familiar. And you've had actual granted visions from the Raven, but she's never spoken to you. But this voice does sound familiar.
Okay.
You will need to give penance for breathing evil into my house.
Look, this is above my pay. Okay.
Tom's just like arching a brow.
All
of you hear this, by the way. It's not just Elias hearing. Like, you're all hearing this voice.
Oh, good.
Pulls out writes pay grade ? Into her journal and for asking later.
I'm not equipped.
A door. I'm sorry, what?
Be in here.
So what you see, it's kind of actually almost like just an entryway, a foyer of sorts. It extends out maybe 15 or 20 feet, and there's really it's just a couple of doors that lead deeper into the building. This looks to be sort of like an entryway or a welcoming area, kind of nothing really in here so much. But a door opens to the side, on the side, and a figure shuffles out, and you recognize this. This is Elephane. They're an elf priest of the Raven Queen. And they sort of look around, and they see you, and like throw up their hands. Kelly, damn it! And you hear, like, in that same sort of echoing, booming, like, a high-pitched chuckle. And you see a young halfling kind of step out from around a chuckling.
Pranks! Fun!
And then another halfling girl kind of coming out. They look very, very similar to one another. She's just sort of like shaking her head, rolling her eyes. And you're like, I mean, really, you get anyone from the church coming in here, and all you got to do is say, "Have you brought evil?" And they fall over themselves to start apologizing. Like it works every single time.
To be fair, I think I might have actually brought evil.
Tis perhaps not the best.
To be fair, they're not wrong this time.
I would say it's just Callie, you just go. Mary, take your sister, and go do something productive.
Cortana just like slightly smiles at the corner, just watching them.
You recognize them. They were basically orphans that Aliphane had taken in, and basically putting them to use, helping around the church. And it seems that Kalia, she goes by Callie for short, seems to have learned a little bit of magic while you were away. Specifically the thaumaturgy's cantrip.
It's a good trick.
That's what we need. Prank playing orphan with thaumaturgy.
Yep. No, it was good.
Elephant, just you. Welcome, Elias, and you seem to have made friends.
Yes, I have.
What is this evil that you think you seem to have brought?
Well,
Katana's will pull out the... Yeah, Katana's had it.
Katana's had it.
So Katana's will pull out the pouch.
Katana's insisted on it.
And just kind of walk up, trying to be gracious about it.
Right.
Kind of bow slightly, open it up, and pull up the gem.
It's necrotic. We know that.
It was being used for... I mean, it's...
We did identify it as necrotic magic, so...
Right. Very strong necrotic magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Found it in mine. Like, making everything in it come back to life undead.
Yeah, it did some
things. And you brought it here, and he sort of like... They look down in alarm a little bit at it.
Brought it here.
You're more experienced priest.
So you sort of bring it out, and you can sort of like gentle green light is just sort of glowing off of it, and it's kind of like...
Oh gosh!
We weren't.
There's no sound, but you get the light.
To do with it.
It was a difficult circumstance.
Yeah.
You see him there. It was making zombies.
You see him sort of mutter an incantation, and cast a spell, and sort of concentrate for a moment. Well, there's nothing inherently evil about this thing that I can sense.
Good.
I like not inherently evil.
But I've certainly never seen or heard of anything like this.
Less encouraging.
My studies. It's troubling that you said this thing was creating the undead.
Yep.
Well, raising them, I guess, by
Helping them
itself.
That is disturbing.
It was, It was disturbing.
It was disturbing, actually. It was disturbing.
We just don't want to touch anything else.
We took some notes that probably have some clue as to what it was done to create it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of dispelling it. That's the tricky part.
How long is it gonna take?
To make grilled cheese?
Yeah.
I'll probably be wrapping up here maybe in 10 minutes, and then about 10 minutes Will that work for you?
Yeah, why is Thomas's crossbow?
I don't know. Why don't you bring Thomas? Why does he have a crossbow?
It's a thing.
Okay, bring it. Okay, I'll let that one go. I'm gonna let that one go.
Why does he have a
Apparently my son
crossbow?
made a
Things
crossbow.
no parent wants to hear.
I think it was in a video game.
He casts another spell, concentrates on the object for a moment.
Oh, he built it? Yeah. He built it out of pencils and rubber bands.
Okay, good to know.
Ow, right on my nose.
Yeah. This. I don't. There's nothing about this enchantment that seems divine. There's. The Raven Queen had no hand in this.
I certainly hope not.
This seems to be purely an arcane fabrication.
So we need someone who.
Well, that's
Unfortunately, I don't believe I have the power
No, just our children.
necessary to divine what this artifact can do. But if you did say, has it created any more undead?
Not since we brought it out.
Not that no, yeah, it doesn't appear to have created any more.
We have been keeping it
was in a.
isolated.
yeah.
And we haven't exactly put it in the
I say yeah. We've not been leaving it near corpses or anything.
He sort of like stops, pauses, casts another spell,
In the middle of the
concentrates.
cemetery.
It seems to have not disturbed the rest of anyone here.
I was about to say, do I need to do a grave real quick?
I think he just did. They just did. Yeah.
Okay.
No, just curious.
We did just bring this into a cemetery.
This is certainly an artifact of something like this that creates the undead. It's certainly not anything that's... Have you attempted to destroy it? Surely something like that couldn't be left in this world.
Have we tried to destroy
We
it?
did sort of try at the beginning, as I recall. Like we tried to stab it
I
or
think-
break it, but we couldn't.
I think we did
easily.
try.
Yeah, we couldn't easily break it, and we just didn't want to risk not knowing more about it. We didn't want to risk much more.
Yeah.
You don't want to unleash the Twinkie.
A sort of explosion of arcane energy.
Yes.
And or zombies.
Or both.
Zombie explosion!
One perhaps than the other.
Arcane zombie explosion is.
That's the name of my new metal band.
Fine, we got Elias. We got Elias.
Right.
We can handle it.
It's the name of my new Rob Zombie cover band.
When did you return to the city, Elias? You've been gone for a while.
Today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it was just a really long night. Yeah, yesterday.
You've heard of what's happened over the sea.
Yes,
The name
I
of the
was about to say
whatever the name of
what
the body of
happened
water
last
is.
night.
Between. No.
Yeah, what happened in
Taldore.
Iman? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just Iman? Still heard anything? It seems like this just happened.
What the refugees say is that it happened not that long ago, but there's multiple cities. Iman, Western, others, I don't know. Not many have made it from Iman, but most of the refugees here are from Western. And
Was
still been in eastern part of the continent.
nothing from Vasselheim?
No word.
Okay.
I've beseeched the Raven Queen for guidance, but she has been very quiet of late. She seems preoccupied.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that impression too.
Is there like a statue or
Is
anything
there
like that in
anything?
this room?
Say what?
Is there like a
This
statue or
is
any like altar?
There isn't really an altar in here. This is sort of kind of like a study, more like a very public type, sort of a waiting room that's more comfortable than like the stark stone entryway outside. There's some couches and some chairs. There is some iconography of the Raven Queen in here, but nothing that would be an actual altar. This looks more like a comfortable waiting room for people who are visiting or otherwise need to sit. Carpeted floor. It looks to be meant
the
to be
iconography then.
Yeah. It's made to be a warm, inviting place for perhaps loved ones or family during services and such. And then he hasn't touched it. They haven't touched it, but it's on a table, and sort of one of the tables in the room, and gathered around it. I'm not sure what else I might be able to do, or what other aid I can provide.
For whatever it's worth, it might have some connection to wealth.
Do I know? Well,
Yeah,
you know
Alfred.
Yeah, you recognize the name. I mean, you don't need a religion check. Lilith is sort of one of the dark elven deities, sort of the mistress of secrets and shadow and spiders. Not really worshipped on the surface, but very much by the drow. This thing, is this what brought you to Wildemount?
Me?
Yeah, I mean, because you were basically following vision.
Yeah.
He was talking. So just to provide a little bit of preface, Elephane is sort of what is known as like one of the blessed of Coralon. Sort of one of those types of elves whose gender is very like literally fluid. Sometimes Elephane is masculine and feminine, and sometimes not really quite anything in between. Which I don't know how you necessarily feel about it. Vela. Specifically, Drow culture sees that as something. Sees androgyny, or specifically blessed of Coralon. I don't know if there's a Coralon comparison in.
There is. It's the Archart. The Archart.
So that might be of something to note, whether or not you feel the traditional feelings of revulsion towards that sort of thing or not. But that's where, like, I'd actually originally made the character in PC female, then male, and then no, this cool book came out that had this interesting thing. But that's why I keep stumbling over
new details.
And I can't hear anyone. Hold on.
Gender's overrated.
Okay, there we go.
Still nothing.
Like, fuck your gender binaries.
Yeah. So you were following, like, you were just getting this primal sense of go east.
Yeah.
And something drew you to Wildemount. And you've been getting just these senses of there's something, and you uncovered this, but it's there. You have this sense that there's still something that isn't settled.
No, I don't think it was this specifically. I don't know, something. It still feels like there's something wrong here. I don't.
Yes, I've not
She's
slept
not the
well
most
lately.
communicative goddess, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, none of them.
The gods are mysterious.
Yeah.
I think she takes a certain delight in being a bit more of an enigma than others. I'm sorry I can't provide much more. I mean, if there's any aid that we can serve,
Do you happen to know anyone skilled in the arcane arts who might?
The arcane.
Since you said it was arcane magic, it seems.
Yes. No. I don't really a circle. I mean, I think the probably largest arcane organization you probably won't find except in perhaps the Empire. There is a monastery of the Cobalt Reserve was library and restaurant, but the Cobalt the monastery that's east in I think Nicodranus.
Could try there.
Thank you.
Sure.
Might there be a moment at the altar?
Of course. It is open for anyone. And he sort of I can take you if you like.
That would be appreciated, thank you.
Sure. He leads you out of the side room. And into the main sort of it's modest. It is certainly no cathedral. In stepping into this space, it's you don't have any specific memories, but it's like sort of a wash of experiences of being in sacred places kind of falls over, and it's almost as if not familiarity but like deja vu, which is, you know what deja vu is, but Cortanus I don't think has ever, but it's a sense that you've been somewhere before. And he sort of motions, and there's an altar sort of at the front. There are a number of pews, and you can see look like the two half levels are cleaning, and one of them in the back kind of closing a cabinet and making order of things. If you'd like to.
Yeah, she's gonna go up to the altar and just kind of think for a moment. She's gonna take out Andunacell and just kind of like hold it parallel in front of her face, just like in a very old style salute.
Mm-hmm.
Put it down, and then just kind of like kneel the one like fist against the ground. Just kind of like, I know not what thou particularly wishest of me to give me such visions, but I thank thee for thy understanding, and I shall protect him with my life. And then take a moment and stand back up and turn and head out.
As you leave the main, there's probably a more specific word for the actual church room, and you kind of turn the corner and see a number of everyone else kind of like coming out. As you catch sight of Elias, you almost swear that you heard sounds of fluttering bird wings, sort of like a flap, 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 and getting quieter, disappear. And I think that is where we'll end for tonight. It is late. Thanks for all jumping in. It was nice to catch up.
Woo!
We'll keep talking over chat, and we'll figure out the next session.
Huzzah.
Great.
Yeah.
It's been too long!
Yeah, it's been too long. It has been way too long. And I'm so excited. I have so many cool ideas. and trials and gauntlets and tribulations to put you all through.
Of course.
But I have to go make grilled cheese, so I will see you all later.
All right. Have a good
It's
night.
his
Good
night.
It's his night for dinner, so I'm washing my hands.
Sweet.
Fair.
Later.
Fair.
Let me go ahead and hop off roll 20.
Yeah. No reason.
Good
to
night.
Yeah.
Night.
Night.
Alright.
Oh
Yeah.
man.